Hi everyone, Arturo Sprecaso here. This is going to be the painting I'm going to be showing you how to create today. And if you guys are ready, let's begin. I'm going to show you guys a technique that I use to create clouds. I've had a lot of wonderful comments on my backgrounds when it comes to clouds. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is a master level technique, but nonetheless, I think it makes it a lot easier than using cardboards and creating the shapes of clouds. Just use a little bit of blue, guys. As you can tell, I leave a little bit of space between layers. That way it gives me my white. And then I shadow underneath, creating the effect of a cloud shadow underneath. So see that? It gives it a very 3D fluffy look. So this will give us a nice beginning to our painting. Now you can concentrate on the background and create very more realistic clouds using colors. And I'll show you that later on, guys. But for now, this will suffice. We're going to begin working on our terrain. So I'm going to use some orange. I'm going to put some brown on top of that so that it gives me a deviance, a variation of colors and shadows. And when it comes to shadow, guys, you can use black. Black is good, but I recommend blue. Blue will give us a more purplish look. Now, see, the whole technique behind the Sprecaso style of painting is that I show you guys how to create these amazing masterpieces using only the basic colors. I have used like purples and pinks in the past, and I tell you guys, yeah, you can use these, but I know that they're not available to everyone. So I really concentrate on showing you guys how to create your own colors. And if you don't have purple, because the brand that I like to use doesn't carry purple, I use blue. You can use blue or red, but if you use blue and orange, it'll also give you a very similar effect. So when combined with the brown, it just gives you a darker color, and you're able to create shadows. So keep that in mind, guys. To work on highlights, you can use yellow or orange. In this case, I'm going to stick with orange. Look at that. Just put it on top. And this is very similar to my wet on wet technique, except with the wet and wet technique, you scratch levels off, right? So I call this one the spray on spray technique, because you get to spray some different colors on top of it to create the effect of highlights. You can even use this to create the effect of water tinting. So pretty interesting stuff, right? So as you can see here, I'm already beginning creating a background level style of rocks. Let's take a closer look at that. Okay, so this is what you've created. Let's work on some water. I've had a lot of wonderful emails, people asking me how I do this. So it's never the same, guys, talking about it than actually showing you. So I don't want my color, my white there to get contaminated by the red that I had underneath. So I folded the piece of magazine, added a little bit of white, some blue on top of that. With another magazine sheet, I'm going to tear off just a small piece of it, and I'm going to create the effect. Now I want waterfalls here. So just a nice little magazine sheet, fold it in half. All right, and let's begin. So I want some water right about here and smear down. Oh, need to put a little more paint. When you smear this down, guys, look at this. Gives it a very nice translucent look to it. Can you see that? Awesome. So you can do this throughout any painting that you have. If you want to add a little waterfall in the background, it's okay, guys. Wait until it gets a little bit dried or whatever, and then come over here and just add your waterfall. So it's never too late. You can always modify your paintings, guys. Well, I say that, but let me clarify that a little bit, guys. I've noticed, it is my personal and professional observation, that if you wait more than a day, maybe 2 days, and you put more paint on top of your dried spray paints, I don't want to scare you guys, but it kind of looks like it has a little small chemical reaction, and the paint starts peeling off. So don't wait 2-3 days to do this. I waited until this dried just a little bit, and then I went ahead and started working my water on there, my water layer. So look at that. Look how easy that was to create a little background waterfall. I love how the blue there on the upper right hand corner gives you a nice little shadow, and then it looks like you have sunlight towards the bottom of it. You know, the sunlight is being represented by the orange. Nice little highlights there. This is just a little bit of white. And see, when it mixes with the blue, it just gives you a very more wavy-like effect on your water. I use this a lot, guys. I encourage you guys to give it a try. Don't be scared. Oh, you know, if you're scared of messing up, well, then you'll never really try anything new. Don't, you know, I'm not going to say don't be afraid it's going to work out. It doesn't always work out, but once you get more comfortable and you get more experience, you'll start to realize that even if it doesn't work out, you can fix it. See, just like I did here. I had too much white, dispersed it. All right, so that's a nice little technique there. I definitely encourage you guys to give this a try. One of the things that I really hope to show you with this tutorial is how to create more intricate, more complicated type of paintings, backgrounds. See, what I intend to do with this specific tutorial, as this is, you know, for the DVD, the spray paint secrets of the spray paint masters, is to show you how to create more intricate landscapes. So I'm beginning here with a piece of the landscape that's out in the background. So I added, you know, some blues, some darker colors, so that it looks a little bit darker. I'll start adding more highlights. See here, I used the same colors that I used on the first time to create my background here, but then I added yellow. Yellow, look at this, will make the land look like it's a little bit more lighted, like it has more highlights. And by tapping on the yellow, you can create those, you know, more natural looking highlights. Just like that. Alright, maybe make some right here. Now keep in mind, guys, you can always come back and modify this piece of land. I know, I actually had a buddy of mine that was standing right next to me when I was doing this, and the whole time he was saying, dude, I don't know what that is. I just don't get it. It's it looks like a landslide. And I kept telling him, well, just hold on, you know, we're getting there. And so, you know, I really, what I tried doing with having my buddy there is that I wanted his opinion the whole time while I was painting. I wanted for him to ask me questions, things that I tend to overlook, guys, because I've done this for so long that I just, you know, I think it naturally. And one of the things that he was saying is like, well, what if you're doing this right now and then all of a sudden you decided that you wanted to add water? So I said, okay, you know what? That's a legitimate question. Let's add some water. You guys remember how I did this, right? A little bit of white, and then you spray paint some blue on top of that. And then you wait for this to dry. It doesn't take more than a minute. Well, again, I'm in the New Mexico area. I know it takes a little bit different depending where you're at, but it just took, you know, less than a minute. I felt it was dry enough for me to add some water on top of that. So, you know, then he added, well, you know what? I want to see some more plant life. Okay, you guys remember how I created plant life, right? I added a little bit of green here on these sides, and then light green. In other words, yellow, or yellow and green, or white and green. Using a little bit of black here and some green, and this I will use to create some bushes here on the bottom, perhaps some grass strands. We're just gonna do that, and we're gonna do this throughout our painting, guys. Now I am limited on time because in this DVD, as you know, I have a great friend here, Brandon McConnell, and so we're trying to split up the time, guys. So, but you guys know how I do this, right? I mean, I just added some random grass throughout. I added another layer of trees, and as you can see, the trees are on the side. And now I'm just adding, you know, highlights throughout this. A little bit of orange, some yellow and green, and I'm using the sea sponge, guys. Remember, I am the sea sponge guy. uh, I know there's different artists out there that have different techniques. I know my buddy Brandon McConnell uses the foam brush, which is, you know, he's really good at it. So he'd be the one to tell you or show you how to create, you know, realistic looking plant life using the foam brush. But I use the sea sponge, guys, and this was all created using the sea sponge on my plant life in the background. I added a little bit of white and green, and this is what I'm going to use to create the highlights on this tree. Okay, so make sure you tap in there. You can possibly, you know what, and I recommend you do this, get a different sea sponge to do this. That way the lighter green will be will look better, guys. It won't be contaminated by other paints. Here I am using a contaminated brush, but that's only because I also wanted to use some of that orange in the trees in the background. Do you see that little orange? I later on went back and I added some, you know, some more natural looking highlights. But guys, I hope that shows you guys how to create a more intricate, you know, more twists and turns on your landscape. You don't have to give up if you feel like you've messed up. You know, just wait a little bit and keep working at it, guys. That's one of the things that I wish to enforce more on this tutorial, is don't give up. You know, the whole time my buddy was there throwing curveballs at me. You know, I want a tree now. Yeah, well, I want another tree. And so I found it a lot of fun, and he was definitely blown away that, you know, you can't really mess up. So I'll stick with that, guys. You know, you really can't mess up. Like the guy that I learned from, Mr. Bob Ross, it's only happy little accidents, right? And you can always work on them and correct them. Add more water if you need to, more plant life. Guys, don't be scared of the spray paint. Spray paint is your friend. Alright guys, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. Until next time, guys, keep those cans shaking.